My dear seventh graders, I'm sorry I can't be with you again today. I hope you are doing well. We are now dividing by decimals. So yesterday we were dividing by whole numbers. And today we have to make things a little bit different in order to divide by decimals. So we skipped page 10. You can cross that out if you get confused. This is page 11. All right, make sure you're turning to page 11. So we have to make the divisor a whole number by moving the decimal over. So remember, the divisor is our second number or our bottom number. These are our divisors. All right, we've labeled this several times in your notes, so make sure you're getting that down, okay? Now, I have a 1.6 here. I cannot divide by a decimal, so I have to multiply it by 10. One thing we learned is that whatever we did to the bottom or the top, we had to do to the other, right? So if I multiply that by 10 to keep this problem proper and equivalent, we also have to do the same there. That's a little bit better. So this is going to be like 16 into 272. So if you put your Chromebooks away, you are welcome to get them out if and only if you're using DividePal, because this is one you can practice with that. But it's going to get a little bit tricky as you go on. So it will help you get it started and it helps you get the rhythm down, but you really got to learn the process, right? All right, so whatever you do to the one, you have to move the dividend the same. I've already said that we're rewriting the problem and we're dividing. 16, we can divide by on our multiplication table, right? So we're trying to get to 27. Well, I can only do it once. So I'm putting a 1 above the 7, not above this 2, because 16 went into this 2 0 times, right? So 1 times 16 is 16, so that's what I'm subtracting here. 2 minus 1 is 1. All right, now remember I bring down the next number. So I've got to follow to 112. Oh, it's even. Woohoo! So that's a 7. So this is my answer, 17. That wasn't so bad, right? So remember, if I move this decimal place once, I have to move this decimal place once, but just once. So I'm still going to have a decimal in my dividend there. So now I have 18 into 131.4. Notice I can't really plug this into DividePal, so I have to know the process. Again, it can't go into this 1. It can't go into 13. So now I'm following the 18 to see how close I can get to 131. 126 is the closest I can get, which is 7 times. So I'm putting a 7 above this one. And we said that was 126. So that's what I'm subtracting here. So if I borrow from the 3, it becomes a 2. 11 minus 6 is 5. Bring down my 4. What do we know about this decimal from yesterday? It just comes straight up. Okay, and then I'm following my 18 till I get to 54, which is 3 times. Pretty straightforward. These aren't so bad yet, right? How many times do I need to move this decimal to the right to get rid of it? 1, 2, right? So that's what I have to do to the other. So I have 5 into 612. And you might notice right away, wait, 612 is not divisible. It doesn't divide evenly into 5 because it does not end in a 0 or a 5. So we might have to do something when we get towards the end, but let's just see. 5 goes into 6 only once. So this is 5 times, right? 6 minus 5 is 1. Now what do I do? Good, we're bringing down that 1. 5 times 2 is 10. 11 minus 10 is 1. Bring down the 2. So it's another 2, right? Still 10. And now I'm stuck. Remember, I can add a decimal to any number and add zeros behind it. It will not cause any issues. So my decimal would come straight up. Oops, I forgot to subtract. Here's my 2. When I bring that 0 down, now 5 goes evenly into 24 times. So here is my answer. My answer is 122 and 4/10. Okay? All right, be looking, how many places do I have to move this to get rid of it? Just once. So if I move this once, I have 24 into 292.5. Any even number is not going to go into an odd number, so I'm guessing I'm going to have to add a 0 to the end of that, baby. But let's look. 24 cannot go into 2, so I could hold that place with a 0 if that helps us stay neat. 24 goes into 29 one time, which is 24. 9 minus 4 is 5. So I bring down my 2. Well, I know 2 times 24 is 48. So that's as close as I'm going to get. So when I subtract 48 here, I have to borrow, right? This becomes a 4. 12 minus 8 is 4. Bring down the 5. Well, I just said 2 times would be 48, so I can't do 2 times. My decimal's coming straight up. I can only do 1 time. Ew. So this is 24. 5 minus 4 is 1. 2. 4 minus 2 is 2. And then I can bring down a 0. So I'm thinking of my multiples of 24 because I don't just have them written down, right? 4 plus 8 is 12, making this a 3 plus 4 is 7. Now I'm jumping up here. 4 plus 2 is 6. 2 plus 7 is 9. Now I'm jumping over those. 4 plus 6 is 10, making that to a 3. 3 plus 9 is 12. Now I'm jumping over all of those. 4 plus 0 is 4. 2 plus 2 is also 4. Bring down your 1. Whew. 4 plus that 4 is 8. 2 plus 4 is 6. Bring down your 1. 4 plus 8 is 12. 3 plus 6 is 9. Bring down your 1. I don't know. I don't think it's going in evenly yet. So 4 plus 2 is 6. There's no 1 there right now. 2 plus 9 is 11. So that makes this a 2. So 216, that would be too much. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. So 8 times is 192. Whew. So you might have to keep adding zeros. So this becomes a 0. 10 minus 2 is 8. This is 18. If I add another 0, this is the problem that never ends, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, only 7 times, which would be 168. And then I think we're going to see the light here at the end of this tunnel, because this becomes a 7. So 10 minus 8 is 2. 7 minus 6 is 1. And finally, when we bring down one more 0, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. My 6th graders had some really long ones that were like 5 or 6 digits long, and it would take forever and ever and ever, but they hung on. So I know you guys can hang on too. All right. Now, example 5, I think is a fantastic example because sometimes we forget where a decimal is in a whole number, right? To make this a whole number, we move it to the right 2 places. So where is our decimal on the 30? Yep, right here after this 0. So if I move it 2 places, what do I need to fill in here? Yes, I need to put in 2 zeros. So this is like 8 into 3 8,000. So 8 cannot go into 3. It goes into 33 times. So I'm subtracting 24. I know it takes 6 to get to the next 10. I'm bringing down my 0. 8 times 7 is 56. So this is a 4. Bring down another 0. 8 times 5 is 40. All right, well done. That one wasn't horrible. Oh, I'm wondering about this one though. Again, when we move this 2 places, we're going to end up adding 1 0 here. So this is ugly. 245 into 4410. You've got to be kidding me. So 490 would be 2 of these. So only one of these goes into 441 because it wouldn't go into 4. It wouldn't go into 44. So one of those is 245. So I'm just going to keep chugging. I can't get overwhelmed. I just gotta do the next thing, right? So I can't take 5 from 1. When I borrow, it becomes a 3. 11 minus 5 is 6. I can't take 4 from 3, so I borrow from the 4. It becomes a 3 also. 13 minus 4 is 9. 3 minus 2 is 1. Holy cow. All right. Bring down this 0. Now this is where I start to get a little overwhelmed because I'm like, well, 10 times would be 2,450. So I'm kind of guessing like 8 times, 7 times. So maybe I'm just going to guess and check. I know this is typically what we do. I know I like to do this if I have like smaller numbers, but I'm just going to guess and check here. So let's try, what I say, 8. You want to try 7? If we try 7 and it's too little, we can add. Let's try it. 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 4 is 28. Don't forget to add that 3 to it, making it 31. And then 7 times 2 is 14. So 17, 15. That's pretty close. What happens when we add another 25 to it though? 245 that is. 2, 4, 5. I think we might be right on the money with 8. 5 plus 5 is 10. This is a 6. Haha. This is a 9. This is a 1. So this was 7 times. So one more would make 8 times, and it would be even 1960. So that was nice only because we didn't have to add decimals and zeros, but gosh, that's really ugly. Okay, so today you are just working on finishing page 12. So yesterday you should have done 1 through 4. This is page 12. And today you're going to do 5 through 8. Again, be sure, however many you have to move the divisor, you have to move the dividend that many, right? However many you move the divisor, it's 2 here, you have to move the dividend that many. And if we move it more than there is, make sure you add a 0 there. So this is going to be 175 into 1820. Well, that's just ugly, isn't it? I would guess less than 10 times because, I mean, only 10 times because 175 plus 1750. I don't know. Try that. I know that one's ugly. Be careful with your decimal places here. You are going to have definitely a decimal in this answer for sure. This one, maybe not. We'll see. All right, so keep them equivalent. Make sure you're changing them so that they're equal. We will be spending a little bit more time in reviewing that next week. But as you can see, we're essentially at the quiz review. You can work on this. I'm going to actually be giving you a different quiz review to practice for the quiz. There is addition and subtraction with negatives and positives. So you got to remember how to do that with your decimals as well on the quiz. So I want to be sure you are getting prepared for that. So if you do not have this packet just about done through page 12, you may consider taking it home over this weekend. Do not lose it, however. So maybe just work on the digital form on a separate sheet of paper at home, but do not lose it. But you should be pretty well caught up. Next week, we're pretty much reviewing and then taking a quiz. So be prepared for that. Don't forget Alex, right? Don't let that get behind. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Finishing page 12.